Welcome to the Talk Sox podcast. I'm Alex, and as always, I'm joined by Maddie. How's it going?
You know, I'm annoyed by a lot of things right now, and the Red Sox are one of them. Just a long list.
Yeah, it's been a
Um,
very frustrating start to the year.
what? Yeah, just not good.
And I think that's putting it nicely.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
do hope that everybody who's tuning in has had a great Easter. Should you choose to celebrate, we are recording this on Easter night. We were hoping for a nice Easter gift from the Red Sox, and for a little while, it looked like we might get one.
yeah, with Walker Buehler on the mound, I kind of went into this game expecting them to win,
hmm To
and
do exactly what they did through 3 innings, just hang a crooked number on him and chase him out of the game and hold a lead.
well, yeah, I was excited. I hope Ranger would, bounce back after his shaky debut, and he didn't.
Yeah, I think that they're Cora talked going into the season that Oviedo would kind of piggyback off Ranger and Connolly because Ranger wasn't stretched out. Connolly's obviously a rookie. Brian Bayo's not stretched out, which he pitches tomorrow against the Brewers, so we'll see what that looks like. Um, Although it's a night game, and Brian Bayo traditionally does very well in night games.
Night game
He is a
Bayo.
vampire. Yeah. But Ranger Suarez looked awful, and we'll talk more about the Padres series here in a little bit. But that actually is a great segue into the Houston series because we recorded during Game 1 of that series, and then Ranger Suarez showed up and promptly blew up the rest of the series too. Um, it was just that Houston series was awful, awful, awful. They got outscored. I forget what the exact number is. Um, Quite a bit. I know on the week, they were outscored. Let me pull it up. I've got it in my notes right here. On the week, they scored 22 runs and they surrendered 39 runs.
Oh my god.
Against Houston, the Red Sox scored 7 runs. The lowest run total that the Astros scored was 6. 15. The Astros accounted for 23 of those 39 runs over the last week. That's one more run than the Red Sox scored all week.
Yeah, and there's no way 35-year-old Jose Altuve should be
Hitting
calling you.
absolute nukes
Yeah.
into the Crawford boxes.
Yeah, oh, yeah, just embarrassing. And pathetic too.
Just a really listless, and I think that I've used that word a lot since the season started, but just a really listless start to the season. Obviously we talked about the Red Series during the last podcast just under a week ago, and we were kind of live updating during the first game of the Houston series, and I had hoped that they would turn it around, and they didn't. Um, there's a lot of question marks on this team. I think that it's stuff that the media, us, whoever, was kind of afraid to talk about as we went into the season as, hey, these could be some serious weaknesses. And then here we are, and they are some fairly serious weaknesses. The same issues that were in the Houston series ish. The Red Sox scored runs in that last game of the Houston series, that Crochet start. He did not look sharp by any means. Gave up the 3-run homer. But the Red Sox at least scored runs. So coming into the Padres series, I don't know about you, Maddie, I was a little hopeful. And then the home opener, that was a phenomenal game. Sonny Gray looked great. I thought that's if that's the version of Sonny Gray we're gonna get, sign me up. We are all about it.
Yeah, that was what you were hoping from Ranger, but I mean, we didn't get. And I mean, was that the game Wilson Contreras had that like bomb outside?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was
Playing in
fun to
Atlanta
watch.
now, yeah.
Just yeah, I want to see more of that. But even then, his bat has been okay. And
So I did some digging to see like how abnormal this is for him. He is a habitually slow starter. He did not get going until the end of April last year for the Cardinals. And when he got going, he was very, very good. But he started incredibly slow for the Cardinals last year through like the
okay,
first 30 games. So I think with Contreras, I don't think it's anything to worry about. His swings look better,
hmm
um, which is good. He's playing phenomenal defense at first, trying to catch whatever Trevor Story is throwing across the diamond, and we'll talk about that. Don't worry, we'll talk about that. I'm not worried about Contreras at all. Who I
hmm
am worried about is Caleb Durbin.
uh, eh, uh, you know, there are a couple. Well, really?
Only because and this discounts what he did in the postseason, but he ended last season on an 0 for 18 slide. He was 0 for 19 to begin the season. He kind of dinky dude his way into into getting on base,
Okay.
which is fine. Whatever you need to do. I think he's been. I think that the coming home to Boston kind of woke him up a little bit. Um, he didn't play great defense in Cincinnati or in Houston, but he has played phenomenal defense at third base during the Padres series. I hope that the Brewers coming in, that'll kind of be like, hey, you know, they traded me here. Let's show them what they're going to miss out on, and I think hopefully that'll help wake him up. But the offensive approach has me a little bit worried right now, and I think he'll come out of it. I'm not saying that he's broken or it's a bad trade, even though Kyle Harrison looked really good for the Brewers again today. Um, but I think, and we've talked about this kind of ad nauseum on here. I think you have to recognize that there's certain players that just aren't going to thrive in certain situations. And Harrison never really looked like he bought into what was going on in the Andrew Bailey pitching lab. And the pitching lab, I think, is still really, really good. I think that it's doing very good things, but I think that it is a lab that is for a very specific type of pitcher. Your Peyton Tolle's, your Connolly Early's, Garrett Crochet's, and it doesn't work for Jordan Hicks, for Quinn Priester, for Kyle Harrison. And sell high on that when you can. I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't question the deal yet. But I would like to see Caleb Durbin wake up a little bit. After the Brewers series, which we'll talk more about that here in a little bit, they head to St. Louis. The Cardinals are on a major rebuild. They will see no old friends that got shipped to St. Louis. Everybody is hanging out in AAA Memphis. But everybody that was at least close. There's some people that are lower than that, but
Well,
you
wait,
know,
Dustin May? Dustin May has his
oh,
worst start to a Cardinal season in over 30 years.
I sent that to a buddy of mine. I forget about Dustin May. I was thinking about the people who were traded.
Mhm.
I kind of hope that I get to see Dustin May because boy, will I yell things.
Oh.
Very, very kind things. I'll compliment his hair. I really just want to see, let's say, Roman Anthony just hit an absolute bomb off of him to watch the like exasperated lean back that he does when he gives up no doubt home runs. I really want to see that.
That would be yeah, that'd be quite a sight. I don't
Yeah.
blame you there. And what a
Uh,
way to, turn things around.
exactly. Um, it's been a rough start to the season. The Red Sox, I think, are better than the Reds. I think that they could keep up with the Astros once everything's clicking. I actually think they're better than the Padres. Um, I think that these couple of games showed that they have all the makings to be better than a team like the Padres, except for a bullpen. And we'll talk about the bullpen here in a little bit. But, it's just I'm worried about the Milwaukee series. I really am. That's a good team. That's a very good team.
Yeah, they were swept by them. When was it? May last year, and now they're
Yes,
playing even earlier. And
Caleb Durbin walked them off last year.
oh, yeah, I remember that. But you have to wonder. Well, are we going to go into the preview? Or wait, no, I had a question. Back to
Okay.
what you said about players not buying into the Red Sox's pitching development with Andrew Bailey. You said Kyle Harrison. Well, even Walker Buehler could be thrown in that group. Just
yeah.
Jordan Hicks. What's the what is the similarity between that group of people? What's the thread? Yeah.
Well, I think that you'd have to take Hicks out to have a thread and even Bueller to a point. I think with Priester and Harrison, to me, it's that they're fastball dominant pitchers, but they're not overpowering fastball dominant pitchers, which neither is Connolly
Okay.
early, but they're pitchers that have secondary stuff that needed a lot of work that wasn't a sweeper or a curveball.
Okay.
Whereas Early can get up to 97, which is on the fringe of a dominant fastball in today's major leagues, which is crazy. Even just 10 years ago, that 97 is considered a fringe power pitch now. But I think Crochet has devastating secondary stuff that just needed some tweaking. Peyton Tolley needs to develop a secondary pitch that he started in Worcester in game 2 of their doubleheader today and looked phenomenal. I saw some highlights from that. Early has developed a really good secondary pitch. Even when you look at guys like Sonny Gray, who's not going to overpower you with his sinker, that sweeper is maybe the best sweeper in baseball. So I think that you're looking at guys who follow a very specific path, a very specific type of pitcher. And they're guys that mix speeds, so it's not a big deal that you've got Crochet coming out one, power, fastball, sweeper. And then you've got Gray coming out 2, fastball with a power sweeper. I don't think that's that big of a deal. Whereas I think with Harrison and Priester specifically, their stuff's good. They look really good in Milwaukee, but there's a program there that I think can foster a different type of secondary pitch for them that wasn't happening in Boston. I think Jordan Hicks is just not a good pitcher. I think that's the common thread there. And I think Walker Buehler is probably going to be lucky to survive until the All-Star break with the
Padres. Yeah.
I was shocked that they signed him, to be honest with you.
Well, when you're kind of tied up to a lot of players, you can't really, allocate that much towards the back end of your roster.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's my thing. I think that I love the Bailey pitching lab. As somebody who, back when I played ball, I was a catcher. We've talked about that on here. I loved catching those power type fastballs. And we're talking like junior Babe Ruth. There's no such thing as a power fastball, but power for that age group, which now you've got kids in high school throwing 95, which is just insane. But that was my favorite style of pitcher is a power pitcher. So that's why I think I like the Bailey pitching lab so much. But it'll be interesting to see when Tanner Houck comes back. He's pushing for a September return. Okay. Hopefully he can contribute down stretch as they're in the hunt for a playoff spot. Patrick Sandoval I think he's reporting to Double-A this week to make some rehab starts. Cutter's got one more up and down before he reports. We just had, 2 pitchers return from Rule 5 draft. Angel Bastardo was returned from the Blue Jays, and Jetson Paez was returned from the White Sox. Paez got knocked around quite a bit, but all the reports out of Blue Jays camp were that Bastardo was lights out, so they're shocked that he was returned.
The bullpen needs a lot of help, so I can't complain about that.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. I think the Cutter's going to get a look there, especially we haven't even talked about it. Johan Oviedo is on the IL, the 15-day retroactive to March 31st, with a right elbow strain. He's visiting tomorrow, which, as you're listening to this, is today. If you're listening on the day it drops, Monday the 6th, with the same surgeon who performed his Tommy John surgery, which is not a good sign to me. Because they have no explanation for why his velocity is so down all of a sudden.
Yeah, you really wanted that to work out, but I mean,
Craig will get crucified for that deal because of who he traded away.
Well, that was the password.
Yeah, but to be honest, the password is hanging out in AAA for the Pirates right now. He was blocked here. I understand you make that. Maybe that's not the deal you want to make for the password in hindsight, but he was going to get traded this offseason, and if Johan Oviedo was the best they could do, the ceiling's there. I don't think Oviedo is a bad pitcher, but he is as injury prone as a pitcher could be. And you hope that when you're trading your number 3 overall prospect straight up he was traded for Oviedo and Tyler Uberstein. You hope that when you're trading your number 3 prospect that your return is going to be major league contributors. And Tyler Uberstein got hung out to dry today because the bullpen was so short. But Craig will get crucified for that deal, especially if Oviedo has to have surgery again, which is outside of Craig's control. He obviously passed his physical for the trade. So it is what it is. Yeah, don't forget that the password is still in AAA for the Pirates, who are a much improved team, but a team that could use some help in the outfield, and they still don't have the password up on the major league roster yet. So just a little note on that deal.
What trade has Craig truly won? Aside from the Narvaez deal and the Garrett Crochet.
I would say Crochet.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, you can't point the Dustin May deal is not the Rafael Devers. I mean, win in a sense that with Devers, you got the Giants to take on his full salary, I suppose. But if you would have paid part of that salary down, I'd have rather taken on Bryce Eldridge and tried to include Noah Birdsong in that deal, because I like Birdsong a lot. And Bryce Eldridge. Yeah, I mean, I think you've got 2, and they happened on the same day. You've got Crochet and Narvaez. I think the Contreras and the Gray deals will come out as wins for Craig as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's too early to call him a bust.
Fitz, yes, Richard Fitz, Hunter Dobbins, that ambidextrous pitcher. I forgot his name. One of the guys that was sent over is on the IL with an aortic aneurysm that they found in his shoulder.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's awful. I'm unfortunately very familiar with those. That's just absolutely awful, and you don't wish that on anybody, especially a guy who is trying to make his name in baseball. So hopefully, I forget who it was, but hopefully he recovers from that well, because those are devastating. Yeah, I think the Crochet trade, the Narvaez trade, I think the Gray trade will be a win. I think that the Contreras trade will be a win, so it's kind of a wash at this point, in my opinion. He's won
Yeah.
4 and lost 3 or 4.
Well, you think about last year at this time, the team had Rafael Devers and Alex Bregman on the roster.
Yep.
This year we have Caleb Durbin and yeah, Caleb. I mean, Marcelo's up. I mean, he's been a spark plug, I would say.
Yes.
Just
yeah,
he
absolutely.
needs. Yeah, he should be playing. Well, yeah.
We talked about this in our podcast chat, and it got brought up in the writers' chat not long after. If Marcelo is going to swing it the way he swung it on Saturday against a pretty good lefty, he's going to play his way out of a platoon pretty quickly, and Marcelo will be starting almost game in and game out at second base. We'll see how Cora approaches that. Cora is one to be pretty set in his ways, and we'll talk about that with the Trevor Story thing as well. But Cora has committed to the platoon with Monasterio and IKF, who is just a money sink at this point. For the most part, he hasn't done anything. He's barely played. And that's just $6 million that you could have allocated somewhere else, I suppose.
The bullpen.
Alex Bregman.
Well, that's
you could have that $6 million would have gotten you a lot closer to where the Cubs ended up. But if you weren't going to give him the no trade, you weren't going to give him the no trade, so it doesn't matter. I don't know. I would love to see Marcelo in a full-time role. I think that he deserves it. I think he deserves it with Anthony. Abreu has had the training wheels taken off, and he is in a full-time role in right field. And good God, Wilyer Abreu has stepped into his own this year. I love to see it. I'm so excited for him.
Yeah, he's been the only really exciting part of this team so far. Just
Yes.
whenever he's up at bat, I will just stop whatever I'm doing and watch him.
Absolutely. I think he's had a hit in 8 of 9 games so far, at least one.
And he's showing more patience at the plate, I would say, just making good swing decisions and hitting the ball hard.
He shortened his swing by about 6. No, he shortened his swing by about 6 inches, specifically against left-handed hitters. If you were watching the Saturday game, it was really interesting to hear Lou Merlone talking about that, because I think Abreu was an 0-1 count, I think, and he swung and fouled the ball off, and Lou goes, "That's the long swing. He's going to shorten it up now." And the next pitch that comes in, he shortens up the swing, rips it for a double. And so Lou started talking about it, like in certain situations, you want to be long, but he knows that when he's down 0-2, he's got to make sure that he shortens up and gets the head of the bat around quicker. And not that he wasn't capable of that over the last handful of years since he's been called up, but it seems like something has finally clicked. And I mean, I think Abreu is going to be dominant this year on both sides of baseball.
Yeah, you always knew the defense was there, and just seeing him now. Seeing his offense come or meet that caliber is just exciting. And they have I don't know how they're gonna deal with trading one of their excess outfielders now, because I mean, Abreu, you shouldn't move.
That was apparently the holdup in the Paredes, Isaac Paredes deals, was Houston wanted Abreu back.
No, you gave him away.
Right. Yeah, that's on you. You traded him for Christian Vasquez. You made that deal.
And we won a World Series with him, but
yeah.
Just no.
I think 6 weeks ago I wouldn't have been here. But I think that if you are looking for an outfielder to trade right now, it's Cedar Rafaela.
Over Duran?
Yeah.
Well, Duran's
right now.
Right. Cedar has been pretty solid, I would say.
I would say he's had a good start to the season.
It's
but I think that if Craig has to make that decision right now, I think that Cedon's the one who's on his way out, and Duran shifts into center field full time.
Well, I thought about this. Did you see Juan Soto was like pulled from a game the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
After rounding the bases. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they would be willing to bite the Mets.
Yeah, on either of those.
Yeah. Either Duran or Rafaela. I mean, no, I do wonder. No, yeah, I'm gonna shut up.
So like, I know that I've been the trade Duran guy for the entirety of this podcast, and I'm not straying from that. I do think that the smart move was to trade him 2 years ago. But if he continues this tear that he's on, you're caught between a rock and a hard place, because moving him to DH and now playing him in left field as they work on Roman Anthony's throwing mechanics from left field. Duran has proved again that he's pretty valuable to this organization. I don't overvalue him by any stretch of the imagination. I think that Jarren Duran is a fine baseball player, but I think he's not a phenomenal baseball player. And I think that Cedon Rafaela could be a phenomenal baseball player. If it was my choice, I would trade Duran, because I think you're going to get more out of that deal right now. And I think that in the long run, that's the smarter play. I think that if you have to do it right now, it would be Cedon would be the one who's out the door. But it feels like MLB The Show, like you do a franchise and you lose the first 3 games, and so you start trading people 3 games into the season. Like, that doesn't happen in real life. It would not shock me to see a trade in late April, early May, though.
Yeah, I'm disagreeing with you there.
By then. By then, it's still early in the season conversation is pretty well over, because you're about a quarter of the way through at that point.
Well, I thought it was a little too early for trading away the face of your franchise on Father's Day, but
yeah, that was a terrible Father's Day gift, if we're just being honest with each other.
Yeah, I guess
sitting there enjoying my steak, and I get the notification, and I look at my phone, and I keep eating, and I double take, and my wife's like, "What's going on?" I was like, "There's no way this is true." And then it was.
I was at Wawa.
Pulled off of the team flight. Did you fall in the aisle?
Fall in the aisle. Well, I mean, I have really bad coverage on my local Wawa, and my local Wawa. I mean, I'm in Sheets territory, so I had to drive half an hour to my nearest Wawa. Just what the heck? I'm waiting for my hoagie. Just embarrassing. Just felt my just about
that's so funny.
Man.
Yeah. I often, not often, but I've started to wonder, are we seeing the downfall of Craig Breslow?
Yeah.
If you look, everybody, but Dabrowski had 3.5 years. Heim had 3.5 years. We are approaching 3.5 years for Breslow. The issue is, and shout out to Corbin from Red Seat Radio. I saw this on Twitter today. I think that the talk of firing Craig right now is fairly laughable, because who's going to replace him? You had the rumored double digits people turn you down even for interviews. 3.5 years ago when you hired Craig? So unless your plan is to move Alex Cora into the Pobo chair, which we can have that discussion if you want to. We can have that discussion. I don't mind that. Who's the play? Falvey, who had a tumultuous end in Minnesota?
No. Well, also
sorry, Brock.
You also have to think about there's an impending lockout. Do you want to be searching for a GM or not have that, not know who that's going to be?
Yeah, that's very valid.
That's that's my thing with, cutting ties with your Pobo or chief baseball
Okay,
officer.
so the Sox hired Chaim Bloom in 19, and then the lockout was in 21.
Okay.
Because I couldn't remember where that lined up, where it on the timeline both those things fell. Because I was like, man, did they hire Bloom in 2020 and immediately take him into a lockout? But no, he was hired in 19, traded Mookie in 20, and then got locked out.
That was
just a phenomenal string of events for one Chaim Bloom. But
yeah.
no, I mean you can't go into a
was the
lockout.
worst.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Because let's not kid ourselves. There will be a lockout in 27.
Mm-hmm.
The owners are preparing for it to be very long. All of us fans, and I'm sure the players and the players union hope that it won't be, and that something will be able to be done. But there will be a lockout in 27. So let's say they fire Craig at the end of the season. The lockout starts December 1. You have, let's say they make the playoffs, and it's the same situation as last year. It's wild card weekend, and they're done. So you have from October 5th until Thanksgiving to hire a Pobo, essentially.
October, 3 months?
Yeah,
well, I mean, if we want to put our tinfoil hats on,
I enjoy doing that from time to time.
We can revisit the Cora thing.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I have my qualms with Cora as a manager. And I think Cora's a good manager. I won't say that he's a great manager. He got very lucky in 18 with just an absolutely star-studded team. Arguably should have won another World Series in 21, if not for Laz Diaz, who was part of the officiating crew during this series. But I think that Cora's shortfalls as a manager aren't going to be issues in a general manager or a Pobo chair, because he's not creating lineups on a daily basis. He's not having to tinker with lineups. So I think that if they do get rid of Craig Breslow, I do think that Alex Cora will probably be the next president of baseball operations for the Red Sox.
Well, who would be manager then?
That's a very good question. I think Andrew Bailey makes sense, but I think that they want to keep him as a pitching coach. I don't think that they want him in like the managerial seat, where he has to have his hands in so many different things. I think a name that is going to be a managerial free agent soon. I think. Let me check this before I say it. Okay. To me, I don't want Veritek because I don't want the pressure of managing the Red Sox for Veritek.
I agree. Just, that usually doesn't end up, it doesn't end well. And I wouldn't want anything to sour with him. And
yeah, I do think David Ross would make sense.
Why wasn't he the manager of Team USA?
Because what's his Dum wasn't said. Who was it? I want to say
DeRosa?
Matt Vasgersian. Yeah, it's not Matt Vasgersian, but it's Mark DeRosa.
Close enough.
The first name that came into my head was Matt Vasgersian. But I think Rossi should have been the manager of Team USA, and hopefully he will be in 29.
If they're serious.
But I mean, I think he has a good relationship with Cora. I think that he would bring in Mike Napoli to be some kind of coach, and I love me some Nap.
Fear the beard.
Yes, I wore that shirt proudly. It's still in my closet somewhere. It does not fit anymore. It's the lone Barstool shirt I own. But it's before we knew it's when we suspected that Portnoy was how he is, but we didn't know for sure.
He's from the North Shore. I mean that.
Yeah, but we gave him the benefit of the doubt for a while. I do. I think Rossi makes a lot of sense. Obviously, there'll be firings between now and whenever Breslow is relieved of his duties. His contract runs up, which is soon, because Jim McCaffrey asked him about that. Jim McCaffrey was talking to him about that, and then Chris Cotillo, friend of the podcast, asked Sam Kennedy on Mass Live's Fenway Rundown. They do an annual beginning of the season interview with Sam, end of the season interview with Sam. It looks like, and Sam said that they have an approach that they are not in conversations with Craig or Alex with extensions at the moment, but they would like to see them both stick around, quote, for the long haul. He was hired. Why can't I? No, nothing wants to give me this information. Let's change my approach. Okay, yeah. He was hired. I'm aware that he's a Yale graduate.
The smartest man in baseball.
Yes, and I think that's part of the issue.
Yeah.
I really do think that's part of the issue. Was it a 5-year deal? I think maybe it's up at 28.
Was it ever made public?
Maybe that's why I'm struggling to find it.
Yeah, do you think is that stuff usually announced? Unless it's like, I remember Theo Epstein with the Cubs, maybe. But I mean,
Cotillo and McAdam both like straight up asked Sam, like, "Hey, his deal is up soon," so at least it's known somewhere.
Okay.
And Sam said that they are not in extension talks at the moment, but they'll approach those when they need to. Yada yada yada. I think that the writing is kind of on the wall for Craig Breslow.
And he also doesn't, well, once you sit on the Iron Throne, you don't want to be taken off of it. And I think that he wouldn't be happy with being demoted to a director of pitching role, which he would thrive in compared to managing the entire roster, which is what he's been doing for the, since he started, and it's been going kind of poorly because, the team. Yeah, I shouldn't say we. The team has a great, starting rotation, but and the bullpen last year was really good, and some of those performances I think were, unicorn seasons.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And Justin Wilson, is he still? Did he retire?
I think he's technically retired now. From what we were told, it was very much like he was like, Red Sox, if you offer me a deal, I will sign it. And then they were like, here's Danny Cullum for $1 million. And Tommy Kenley.
Woo. And I think those guys, they're kind of old too. I don't think they can put up the same performance he did this year.
No, probably not. I do like Tommy Kenley. I've wanted the Red Sox to sign him for arguably as long as the Red Sox have wanted to sign him. Since that's been a thing for years. Just the bullpen, it needs some life, and I alluded to earlier where you had Uberstein out there for what, 2 1/3 today, um, because you had nobody else essentially. Garrett Whitlock is on paternity leave until Monday. Aroldis Chapman took the loss Saturday. Justin Slayton pitched Friday and Saturday, I think maybe, or he pitched on Wednesday and Saturday. So all three of those were down. You had Zach Kelly, who was up when the Padres took and ended up being the final lead, but he wasn't brought in until the 8th or the 9th, maybe. Just all in all, like you had a short bullpen today, and it did you no favors. If you look back on that Cedon Rafaela misplay on Friday that extended that inning and the ramifications that it had for the rest of the series, it's crazy that one play can impact a game 2 days later.
Mm-hmm. Just the snowball effect.
Yeah.
And well, that's baseball.
It is. Baseball, it's my favorite sport. It's a sport that I love, but it is the dumbest sport in the history of sports because of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of glossed over it. We talked a little bit about the Brewers preview. We had some grand plans for today that ended up not working out. But we'll be back at you later this week with something that should be a whole lot of fun for everybody. But I don't think there's much more to say outside of the Brewers are a very good team. The pitching matchups are scary. We get Brandon Woodruff in the opener against Brian Bayo, which it is a night game, so that'll help Brian Bayo, hopefully. The Tuesday game is must-see TV. You've got Mizorowski throwing for the Brewers. The kid's a stud. He is so good. Against Garrett Crochet making his Fenway debut. You love that. You love to see that. That should be maybe one of the best pitching matchups of the season. And then in the go home game, I forget his first name, but you've got Patrick throwing for the Brewers against Chad. Yes,
of course, the dude with Chad. 2 first names.
Yes. I'm not gonna say I had a student whose last name was Patrick, and that's where my head went. So I for the life of me, could not remember that his name was Chad. Then you got Sonny Gray, who unfortunately is going to miss heading back to St. Louis to make a start at Busch Stadium. I think that on paper, the Red Sox should win 2 of these games based on the pitching matchups.
Well, a lot of
because
things
I like Crochet at home.
Yeah. I think didn't Brandon post something last year where his home road splits were a little concerning? Or
yes, but I think in his first start at Fenway, the team is sliding. He has been very vocal about it. He was very vocal about his most recent start against the Astros last season when he had a down start, and he kind of turned the ire on himself. Like the next 5 starts, he came out guns blazing. That's a winnable game, and I think that the Gray game is winnable. The Bayo game worries me.
You never know which Brian Bayo you're going to get.
Yeah, and Brandon Woodruff doesn't look bad.
Yeah, well, the Brewers have this thing where they somehow figure out alchemy for player development, or the equivalent of alchemy.
They've got a room full of cauldrons and rocks, and they're just
frogs.
making so many. I hate frogs so much. So many frogs. My wife will tell you about my disdain for frogs. They are my least favorite animal in the history of the animal kingdom.
No, they just be hopping around.
They're so gross. I can't.
They are. Yeah, I mean, they're cool, but I wouldn't want one in my home.
So during the pandemic, during lockdown, Uh, I don't think that my son had been born yet. He was born in May of 2020. I don't think he had been born yet. I think that we were very close though. And I go out the front door of our old house to go get the mail, and a frog like jumps on my leg, and I was wearing shorts.
Oh no.
And
Oh.
we have a Ring doorbell, and she still has the video saved of like the high pitched scream that I let out, and then like jumped like 10 feet in the air. Um, I hate frogs. I hate them so much. But I'm sure the Brewers have them because something's got to make sense for that.
Well, okay, this is another tinfoil hat thing. I don't follow. I only see the success stories with Brewers players. I don't see, or I don't follow heavily, the dudes who are traded then, like, their performance afterwards. So
Right.
there was something with like, again, this is from I saw Cubs fan discourse about this, so take it with a grain of salt, that the Brewers were cheating.
Ooh.
And like, yeah, I don't. Well, no, I'll promote it. Well, not promote it. This is what people are saying. Do I agree with it or disagree with it?
I haven't heard this.
No. There was some no. If you go on like Twitter, you like this has been going on since like last like summer, like with like accusations of the Brewers cheating, and like their home roads. It was something about their home road splits, like and other NL teams were saying this, but just like Durbin's like Durbin like kind of turning into a pumpkin again. It's still in such a small sample size. Like I think he can,
right.
But still, you have to wonder, like, is there something nefarious going on other than
Oh man, I'm gonna
frogs?
go down the rabbit hole tomorrow.
Yeah,
I can't wait. Oh man, for if what we have planned lines out for later this week, this is gonna be a hot topic.
Bring the receipts.
Yeah, we're
the manifesto.
Oh man, I've subscribed to Section 10's Patreon, and I now receive Milliken's manifesto before every recording, and
Nice.
it is a thing of beauty. It really is. If you ask, I won't send it to you. I'm not gonna do that. That's a quick removal from the group, and if you want it, you gotta pay for that tier. But I'm also now a Clark's Ketchup MVP voter. Well, that's never going to happen because the Red Sox haven't won a series yet. But
that's funny.
It's been really fun being part of like their like official Discord and stuff, and the Patreon only channels. But yeah, Milliken's manifesto is just phenomenal, and it is usually around 6 pages for each series. It is a thing of beauty. It really is. Yeah, I'm so curious. I can't wait. I'm so curious about this now. I'm not in tune with the NL at all anymore. I always say the Mets are my NL team if I have to pick one, but I'm not an NL guy. I can't. I'm gonna do some deep diving tomorrow. That's gonna be fun. But yeah, so the Brewers series, like I said, I think 2 games are winnable. I think if Bayo shows up and shows out, I think you could sweep them. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in that. I think Sonny Gray will be fine. I think Crochet will do well, and I hope Bayo does well. But I would like a 2 out of 3. But my gut says that at best we only win the Crochet game.
Yeah, that's a worst case scenario, and I would think that these games are winnable. Well, I'd be more confident in saying that they were winnable. Except winnable is that even a word? But anyway, except
It is today.
Except for the fact that their offense is so tepid.
Yeah,
and
we saw a spark today, and we saw a spark in the last Astros game. And so if they can carry it over, and you can win Bayo's game, if it carries over to tomorrow and you can win Bayo's game, then you feel good going into Crochet's game, where that's hopefully winnable. So I don't know. This could be a start of a turnaround. I do like that they're getting the Cardinals at the end of the week. The Cardinals don't look good at all. Jordan Walker is finally coming around, and I've been on the Jordan Walker hype train for years. I wanted the Red Sox to trade for Jordan Walker last year to play first. And maybe he's got it figured out. We'll see. But I think that the Cardinals series will hopefully be their get right series. And we've touched on the bullpen a little bit. Right now I've got Fangraphs pulled up. We're looking at, based on ERA, the Red Sox are ranked 18th overall with a 3.6, which is better than I thought it would be. Their F4 is a negative 0.2, which is not the lowest. The lowest F4 and coincidentally the highest ERA belongs to the Tampa Bay Rays.
Huh.
The Rays bullpen has a 9.24 ERA and a negative 0.7 F4.
Oh, Griffin Jackson's doing terribly. It's the World Baseball Classic curse.
It's in about 5 less innings than the Red Sox have thrown, but I mean it's not good.
Yeah. Huh. Okay, that makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, by ERA, the Rays are the worst bullpen in baseball with a 9.24. Toronto comes in at 7th overall with a 5.17. Baltimore comes in at 9th overall with a 4.85. And then you've got the Red Sox at 18th with a 3.6 and the Yankees at 27th with a 2.22.
Okay.
And they may have the highest F4. Yeah. Them and the Padres are tied for the highest F4 in bullpen, which Padres, obviously, it's on the back of Mason Miller, who just shoved it up our ass this weekend. Just an absolute masterclass in closing games on Saturday and Sunday.
Hey, what was the meme with Masataka Yoshida being off for 4 days? It's Mason Miller.
Go out there, take some hacks against 102, Masa. See what happens.
Well, he had a good game today.
He did. Masa had a great game today. He is probably not long for the Boston Red Sox still, but I love Masataka Yoshida. If you trade Cedon, you can play Jaron in center and Masa can DH every day. There's the fix. Or you trade Jaron and Masa can DH every day.
I was gonna say should we go to the who to blame now?
Yeah, I think that parlays pretty well into it. What's your take on it? Like whose feet does the blame rest at the moment?
I don't think it's the players. I would say it's the higher
There's
up.
one name that might be underneath this bullet point that I think you could point to.
No. Okay. Alex is the conductor on the Trevor Story hate train.
Oh man, just wait. I'm gearing up.
No, I think this goes back to the whole this was the last game in Houston, right? Where Narvi was randomly benched.
Yeah, they talked about it on Section 10 that apparently from what they've heard, he was late to the field on that Wednesday, and that has been a problem for him throughout spring training. And it has been a problem for, quote, a number of guys on the team. I saw Johan Oviedo's name thrown around in that. That he has had some issues with being punctual and acting like he cares. I don't think that Narvaez ever acted like he didn't care, but it seemed like, Narvaez, he jokingly called the captain by a portion of the fan base. But I think that Alex Cora kind of sees him in that role. He is the catcher. He is the captain of the defense. And I think that he showed up late and Cora decided to make an example out of him.
Yeah, I mean, the most concerning, I don't blame him for benching him for being late. I mean, Carter Jensen admitted he slept in and then was, you know,
Yeah,
pulled. Yeah, I mean, he's a rookie, so maybe you shouldn't give him no, you shouldn't give him leeway, especially if he's catching that game.
right.
Yeah, but anyway, just if it's multiple players that are culpable of this, and you pick one as a scapegoat who's really well regarded by the pitching staff. Crochet has praised him. Giolito did, who's still unsigned, but just a
I
lot
can't
of
believe he's not a Brave. Can't believe he's not a Brave.
yeah, he seemed like a good fit for the team, but given their recent string of injured pitchers. But anyway,
Yeah.
just yeah, like highly respected, and choosing him as a scapegoat seems a little odd.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Just and yeah, that's why I was saying it goes to ownership, or not ownership, just no, they're not the owners, the admin. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
Admin of it, like yeah, because then you have guys who can't hit, and you need at least one star player on the team. And I know like he's going to be a great player, don't get me wrong there, but he's
Mm,
also young. It's only his second
fun.
season in baseball. He's 20, he just turned 21 last year, turning 22 I think in May, and just that's a lot of pressure on a young guy to carry a
Yeah,
lineup.
yeah. You needed Alex Bregman, Kyle Schwarber, Pete Alonso. You needed somebody like that in the offseason.
And Schwarber's such a good leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, that a really good guy too. And well, he's on the aging Phillies now.
Who haven't been great. So if that continues, I wonder if maybe you could talk about a Schwarber trade at the deadline.
I've always thought if they were going to move somebody, it would be Trey Turner, because they have Aiden Miller in
Yeah.
the pipeline. And I think a lot of teams would like, well, Trey's like past the age of 30, and he still is like one of the fastest guys, if not the fastest player in the league. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I wouldn't hate that.
If you want a guy who can hit for average in 2026, be my guest.
It's better than the current shortstop.
Okay. That's the perfect transition into our final bullet point.
If you don't remember, for a large portion of last season, I wrote what became a series of essays on why Trevor Story no longer needs to be a member of the Boston Red Sox. And I apologized about July when Story turned it around, and he was really a driving force towards the playoff run. My answer is Pete Patsy on who's to blame. I think we should probably see him go because the
I
offense is
agree.
anemic. But back to who should also be packing his bags out the door along with Pete. I apologize to Trevor Story, and I am slightly worried that if I were to run into him in St. Louis this weekend, he might hit me because if he's seen it, he's not going to like what I had to say. Get ready because the op-eds are coming again. I've already started working on them. We'll start with this little nugget. I say that as Twitter apparently has crashed. See if it pops back up real fast. Okay, yes. So Chris Smith from MassLive.com before the game tonight, or this afternoon, tweeted, the Red Sox Trevor Story has swung and missed 20 times, with 18 of those whiffs coming on pitches outside of the strike zone. His 18 swings and misses on pitches out of the zone are fifth most in the majors. He's tied with the Mets' Bo Bichette for the most out-of-zone swings, 43. He and teammate Cedar Rafaela are tied for the third worst chase percentage at 51.2 in MLB. So that's terrible. And that is before the game today when I was driving home from Easter lunch with my family during the 7th, 8th, and ninth innings. So I got to listen to the bottom of the ninth when Mason Miller threw, according to Will Fleming, a slider that was 10 feet in the other batter's box that Trevor Story promptly swung out of his shoes on.
Yeah. It was worse to see just
Oh, I'm sure.
on video. Just that was oh man.
With Trevor Story at shortstop, you are unable to put your best defensive lineup on the field. Marcelo Meyer needs to be your everyday shortstop. If he's going to hit like he is currently hitting, move him to short, move Story to second. Story's got an arm that can play at second because his arm obviously isn't playing at short anymore. How many errors does he have on the season already? I've got his Savant page pulled up. Give me just a second.
Did you see his overthrow, like his really bad throw?
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
Errors on the season. He has 3 already. We're 3 series into the season, and Trevor Story has 3 errors already.
That's almost half of the teams.
They've all been throwing errors.
Yeah.
It's not misplaying a ball. It's not any of that. They have all been throwing errors. If you look at his Savant page, let's talk slash line. 119, 119, 214. He has 1 home run that got into about the second row at Great American. His strikeout percentage puts him, which is 40.5, puts him in the 6th overall percentile. His chase rate at 51.2 puts him in the 2nd percentile. His walk percentage is based on wall percentage. Guess how many times he's walked?
0.
0.
Oh.
0. You know who else has walked only once? Wilyer Abreu. But Wilyer Abreu has been carrying this team on offense, and I can forgive a 1 walk when you are hitting the way he's hitting. His range, his outs above average, -1, 8th percentile. His arm strength currently is not grading out. The only red, it'll grade out and it'll be blue just like everything else too. The only red that he has on his baseball Savant page, his base running run value is a flat 0, which puts him in the 87th percentile. His hard hit percentage is a 45.5, which is good for a 66th percentile, which is just barely in the red. And his launch angle sweet spot is a 45.5, good for an 86th overall percentile. He has 4 hits.
He shouldn't be batting second tomorrow. Like, they're not a serious team if he is the second dude the pitcher is facing. Or
give me Wilyer, put Duran lead off, move Anthony to second, put Duran in second, put Narvaez there. Narvaez is swinging a decent stick. Like, put Caleb Durbin there.
I think Durbin has more to offer, I think. Just even though his bat has I have more faith in him.
He's got better plate discipline.
Mm-hmm.
This is my biggest complaint with Alex Cora this season so far, is he's already been asked, like, hey, when are you going to start tinkering with the lineup? Oh, it's still early in the season. We've got to let guys get their feet under him. I don't care. Not that he's the shining example of what to do, but Troy Votalo out in San Francisco has rolled out almost an entirely different lineup every game this season. Now, it hasn't worked, but that's the college mentality in him that it's going to take time to get out. But Cora is a smart enough manager and a smart enough personality guy that he's got to be able to sit Trevor down and be like, hey, this isn't working. We're going to drop you in the lineup until it is. And Trevor Story is a veteran of the game, and he understands that he's not guaranteed a position. He's not guaranteed the number 2 spot, even though that's what he was told he was going to have. I think that would he respond well? I don't know. Would he understand and respect Cora for it? I think so. Just move him down for a week and see what happens. Let him get some of that pressure off him. And put somebody behind Anthony that they're going to be somewhat afraid to pitch to. Because later on in games, all they're going to do is walk Roman to get to Trevor.
Yeah, just move him. Yeah, move him down. The leash is too long. Yeah, and I mean the worse they do, the bigger a hole they dig themselves into that they need to get out at the end of the year.
They're 5.5 games back of the Yankees already, and we will be talking in late August, early September. I'm very confident we will be talking in the fall. Man, if the Red Sox didn't get off to that 2-week slide to start the season, they'd be in the running for the AL East right now. They would be first in the wild card. Whatever. I think the AL East isn't unattainable, but the turnaround starts tomorrow with the Brewers. I think another week of this, and you can go ahead and the AL East is out of reach, and you're playing for a wild card spot at that point.
Yeah, and you're also competing with what? I mean, the AL East could have 3 wild card teams this year.
Yeah, and it wouldn't shock me if the AL East sends at least 3 teams to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The Blue Jays will figure it out. The Orioles are already looking better than what even we thought they would be. And I think the Red Sox will figure it out. But the division right now is the Yankees to lose. And as of right now, they look like they're not going to lose anytime soon. Things change. Giancarlo Stanton will unfortunately get hurt. Like, that's the nature of who he is as a player now. Aaron Judge will spend some time on the IL. There'll be a pitching issue. There will always be something that knocks the Yankees down a peg. But I think priority number 1 has to be Cora has to move Trevor Story in the lineup. Now, my favorite quote that Cora has given is was today after the game. Alex Cora was asked by who I can only assume is Chris Cotillo by Cora's response. Was asked about Trevor Story continuing to bat second. All Alex Cora would say is that he still likes him as a player. My exact quote was, "This is giving off, yeah, we've broken up, but I still like them as a friend vibes."
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, but that's putting it nicely too.
Yeah,
that's just I think what even could you get for Trevor Story on the market?
Nothing.
And I think Masataka Yoshida's value is higher right now.
I agree with that.
And I think
realistically, I think you're looking at DFAing him if you're getting him off the roster.
And realistically, well, not realistically. Well, just with the way things are, I would rather see the team DFA Story than Masataka Yoshida.
I agree with that. Let's see. So Story is signed through 27, with an option for 28 that I have to imagine they're already like laughing about that potentially being picked up. His annual value is $23.3 million. Are the Red Sox willing to take an almost $50 million hit in cap space over the next 2 seasons? Probably not. But if, as an ownership group, you think that 27 is going to be a shortened season, I think it's something I'd consider.
And they're the Boston Red Sox. They're not the Tampa Bay Rays. There's also that too.
the fact that he is still hitting second, is still out there at shortstop is just infuriating. Like I said, I'll begin my exposés on why why the similar batters to Trevor Story's line this year are 2025 Connor Norby, 2023 Connor Wong, 2021 Mike Yastrzemski, 2019 Christian Stewart, and 2022 Bobby Dahlbeck. That's just elite company if I ever have seen it.
Bobby's having a great time in Japan.
Japanese Bob is what he needs. Maybe he'll have some kind of career resurgence there. But I don't. Trevor Story needs to be batting sixth at best, more like eighth, probably. Right now, I think that they need to sit him for a week, like they did last year in May, and just reset him. But I don't think they're going to do that right now. I would rather move Marcelo to shortstop and call up Mikey Romero to play second, or have Monasterio play second on a daily basis right now, and platoon with IKF there. I'm over Trevor Story, and I wish the Boston Red Sox were too.
Yeah, last year you wanted to be hopeful about his bounce back season, but I mean, you look under the hood. I mean, his bat speed has never been off the charts, and his batted ball data too was mediocre at best. And now I think we're seeing that he's trying to overcompensate by swinging at everything and carry the team. He's not that guy. Nothing against him, but
he never has been.
He had like one good season with the Rockies, and again, it's Coors Field. You're a mile high up there.
Yeah. So I don't know. Something's got to be done, and be on the lookout within the next week for my first op-ed on why Trevor Story is awful at baseball. And I hope that he doesn't see it before Friday through Sunday at Busch Stadium, where he might punch me. I always will end on this because it's funny. I was in DECA when I was in high school, and I was in sports and entertainment marketing, of course. And my favorite role play that I ever had was when I was a sophomore. And the situation was a fan was heckling a professional baseball player who promptly jumped into the stands and punched the fan. And it was, how would you handle that? And so every time I muse about Trevor Story hitting me, that's the scenario I have in my head, is that he will leave the batter's box, jump the wall, and punch me. So I'd be on TV.
Just float through the netting now.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, where I sit at Busch, we're just past it, so it's possible. We're right down from the visitors' bullpen, or from the visitors' dugout, and
nice.
probably 3 rows away from where the net ends. So it's possible he could hit me. But we'll see. Watch the games this weekend, and if Trevor Story punches a guy in the crowd, it's me. Are you currently working on anything right now, Maddie?
I'm not. Are you?
So I have taken over your weekend review over here at Talk Sox, and my first one of those will go up tomorrow. And then I also have an article that is slated to go up tomorrow. Absolutely glazing, as the kids say, one Willier Abreu. So check that out, because I'm sure that there'll be some opinions on that one.
Well, I'm excited to see that, as he's been the only bright spot on this team so far.
We just love Willier. Willier's great, and even if it's a terrible season, I will still love Willier.
And he seems like such a nice guy too. I mean, this is now bordering parasocial, but
You know what? We'll allow it when it comes to Willie Abreu. I do hope I never like seek out guys to try to like get autographs or anything. Like when I'm at games, I'm in my 30s. That's not a thing. But I do hope that I can somehow like get a high five from Willie Abreu because I think that like just his positivity and just his coolness will just like come into me from a high five with him, and I think that would be cool. But thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Talk Sox podcast. As we've talked about, we'll be here every Sunday for the most part through the remainder of the season as we talk about what is hopefully going to be a much better Red Sox season than has started so far. And we will catch you guys next Sunday. Thanks for listening.